Welcome back to What She Said Sports. It is the midday huddle. All right. So, glowing reviews following the podcast from this morning. Thank y'all so much for the kind words. And last night I posted a behind the scenes when I was actually getting ready for today. So, thank y'all so much for riding with me. All right. So, it's the midday huddle. We're going to give people time to join us. Um, as you can see, there is a thumbnail that tells you basically what this podcast is getting ready to be about. So earlier today, we discussed on the lunch and stream how Shedeur Sanders, the NFL scouting report, not just any scouting report. Yes, all the external scouting reports, Bleacher Report, CBS, etc., has Shedeur first year starter, first round, right? And even we took a look at the NFL's own scouting report by someone that they pay for the NFL on the NFL's website of Shedeur Sanders scouting report, and again, a first round projection. So now we're talking about why, since Shedeur has been with Cleveland, is Cleveland so dismissive of Shedeur Sanders? Initially, they were dismissive because they were still following on the same entitled trope, right? Saying he has to come in and he has to earn it, etc. Right? Then it went from that to the negativity spewed by the GM and Kevin Stefanski basically saying, hey, we know who Shedeur is at the initial press conference. Then we move on to Kevin Stefanski being the one coming out, having nothing but positive things to say about Shedeur. I like everything about Shedeur. And, me with the healthy skepticism is like, okay, who sent him out here? What's this about face like? So then now they remove Kevin Stefanski. And then we get Mary Kate, I call her Mary Kate. We get Mary Catherine coming out with microaggressions against Shedeur Sanders, but it's beyond that. It's the negativity. So when it came to 11 on 11, see, we didn't know last week whether Shedeur did 11 11s. What we knew is he did 7 on 9s, and he did extremely well with the limited opportunities. In fact, he was 3 touchdowns, 7 of 9 for what he was allowed. And it was said that it was with the third team, the 14, or the walk-ons, etc. So the fourth team. So there's 4 quarterbacks. So somebody's not getting reps, and it seems like it's Deshaun Watson. While he is there and is working out in the building, in the meetings, it doesn't seem to be 5 reps taking place. And I pointed out that the Mary Catherine woman was basically negative about Shedeur Sanders' presence being there, and that they need to hurry up and figure out who the quarterback is going to be, making it seem like it was inconvenient that they had to practice on both sides of the field. I mean, if they have 4 quarterbacks anyway, Shedeur Sanders is not making it inconvenient. Then we see them go to an off-site event, which is essentially your free time. And Shedeur's Twitch streaming, and we hear this woman basically almost like harassing him. That's how people are summing it up, about not only his fan base, what is it called? They're loud and proud, and it's just negativity. It's just more negativity. So now she coming with it. So I was looking up the 11 on 11s because, people are asking, why aren't we seeing Shedeur with the 11 on 11s? And Kevin Stefanski's out playing golf, and he's like, this is a thorough evaluation, yada, yada, yada. So people are like, oh, y'all don't want us to see Shedeur since we saw him ball out. Now you're hiding him. So, they'll be back, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday with open OTAs to the media. So essentially they're having closed OTAs, and we are beholden to reports from people like Mary Catherine, with her telling us what's happened. And it already happened. So on the thumbnail, I put a quote that she gave to reporters, since she was the one telling us what was going on in OTAs before this session. Oh, no, Shedeur wasn't involved in OTAs. They were very dismissive and basically saying what he did do in OTAs wasn't really much to do about nothing because it was with the 4th team. And she was like, and he certainly didn't have Mason Graham in his face. And she was basically saying he didn't do nothing. He didn't do much. And he's taking fourth QB reps. So that's the 7 on 7 with the 14. He's taking 4th QB reps, and that's not a big deal. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And the question is, why is Cleveland downplaying Shedeur Sanders' success? Are they truly hiding him from 11 on 11s? Because come to find out, if you'd ask her, he didn't do any. Yes, he did. Yes, he did do 4 team reps, but he also did 11 on 11. Is somebody lying? And why is this Mary Catherine person so negative? Just like the GM was negative. Just like initially Stefanski was too. In fact, there was a post going around initially saying Stefanski didn't want to have anything to do with Shedeur. But I said in my podcast, I didn't really pick that up from him, but I did pick up he's the son of a Hall of Famer, so it's a lot. I didn't like that because they weren't evaluating Shedeur based on his own person. They were already discriminated against him. What do you mean it's a lot? They were trying to say he has cameras following him around. He does not. He has his own phone, and he's allowed to use it when he's allowed to use it. See, that was speak because they didn't want Shedeur to be the face of the Browns, and they certainly don't want him to be the face of the league, but they can't stop it. He has sold the most jerseys of any NFL rookie. You can't stop that. That means that's the fans. You gonna argue with your fans? Let's see how far you go to keep him hidden from us so we don't see him succeed, and you want us to believe what you tell us about OTAs. So they admitted, yes, he did do OTAs, but did they tell us how he did? No, they didn't tell us how he did at all. We had to hear from people who were allowed to see that he was 7 of 9. They didn't tell us how he did when he was in rookie minicamp. We had to hear again from people who were allowed to see. So Cleveland is running a sham job over there where Shedeur Sanders is concerned, and they up to something. Are they going to set him free to go to another team where he can ball out, or is he going to be held hostage there so they can try to smother his career some more? And why is this Mary Catherine woman allowed to be so negative? That's the same question I had about the NFL draft. And I asked the question in the NFL comment section. I said, why do y'all allow the media to disparage and denigrate your draft prospects? Now you know why after the draft, because they was in on it. They were in on it. They made the opportunity possible for the prank to take place, and that phone number did not fall into anybody's hands. And all the phone numbers that they have of all the rookies, it was Shedeur Sanders' phone number, spot on time with the Saints. And people are starting to ask, how did the Ole Miss guy, after you tell us who he is, how did he know that Shedeur was not getting drafted? Because they were talking around them. They were saying all sorts of things around him. So they thought it was okay to add on and pile on, just like people did when they put a noose into the locker at NASCAR, because the culture starts at the top. So why is Cleveland so negative about Shedeur's talent? He's going to have to come in and work his butt off starting at the 4th QB spot. See, that's wrong in itself. He should not be starting at the QB spot because it's documented. The NFL itself said he's a first round projection. And we know the reason he didn't go first round is because they intentionally locked him out. Just like we know he didn't get drafted and they were pushing him down because they took him off the board. So we need to clarify a few things. Why is this Mary Catherine woman allowed to be so negative about Shedeur? Because I didn't get my answer in the draft, but I want it right now. Why is she allowed to act like he got to come in here and work his butt off like he's not already QB1? He was QB1 before he got to Cleveland. He has proven that he's the best quarterback that they have. So why is she so negative? Why is she allowed to be so negative? She has a boss. This is bordering on defamation again. Everything she says out of her mouth about Shedeur is negative. And her microaggressions that we saw on camera, somebody need to write her up. She is harassing him because her negative tone is just turning into negative actions. And the more and more this goes on, he's going to need to be protected from her. This is racism. This is discrimination. He's being singled out in Cleveland, just like he was in the draft, which means I'm right. Cleveland is keeping up the same BS-ery that they had in the draft. So why is this Mary Catherine woman allowed to be negative and act like he's not QB1 talent when even the NFL said he was? Why is she allowed to roam and try to disparage somebody else? Are they not tired of this? We have all seen it. We don't like it. You can't hide him and you can't bury him at the back of the death chart. It's not going to work. I want accountability. The way this woman is running around trying to basically disparage this young man, he's going to have to work his butt off from a fourth place. Just because you drafted him in the fourth round does not mean the fifth round does not mean he has fifth round talent. He has QB1 talent. So I don't like this. I don't like what I'm seeing because it's more of the same from the draft. And they already have a lawsuit hanging around their neck and they persist. I put her quote out there for a reason. So people need to see that the Cleveland Browns is allowing this woman to come with her microaggressions and to defame this young man and to basically project that he's not QB1 talent when we see with our eyes he's the best QB he has. So she's lying. Why is she allowed to lie on him? Why is she allowed to be dismissive of his success? Why is she allowed to downplay his talent? We need answers. So yes, they're hiding him because we didn't even know he did 11 on 11. Why are they allowed to hide him? That's a league issue. That's a Browns organization issue. That is a league issue. Everything she says is negative. Why is she allowed to do this? We need answers. This man sold the most jerseys. Yes, he's popular. Her asking him about his fan base like he the only player that has fans that like him because she's surprised that anybody likes him. Just because you downplay his success does not mean he's not talented. Just because you say the sky is pink don't mean we believe you. And you should not be allowed to misinform because that's what she's doing. Oh, those OTAs don't mean anything. I promise you, had he not been good, somebody else called it. They would have acted like he lost the Super Bowl. They didn't tell us about his 11 on 11s because clearly he did good. And she's keeping up the same trope. He's going to have to come in here and work his butt off. Her and Andrew Barry must go to lunch together every day. And she picking up his language because culture starts at the top. So why is she allowed to run around and downplay his success and misinform us? Why? Why is she allowed to misinform the public? I need answers. This young man was proven out of Colorado. He's pro-ready. He's the best quarterback they have. He's nothing that they said he is. And she's harassing him, and I don't like it. I don't like it one bit because it's more of the same from the draft, and I'll be damned if I sit there and watch something like that happen again. It was traumatic. So somebody needs to rein her in. And it needs to come from the top. And the culture from the top needs to reflect that racism and discrimination and harassment is not tolerated. Because that's not the message that we're seeing. They trying to make this kid a punching bag again. We're not going to sit here for that. Oh, no. See, you got us the first time. But it's not going to happen again. Target makes $100 million and they suffering. Companies are now trying to figure out how to be boycott resistant. The NFL is not above reproach or boycott by fans. Understand that. So her comment, what she said, he gonna have to work his butt off. He didn't have Mason Graham in his face. You mean the one that came to practice throwing up out of shape? Him? That's who you talking about? Oh, I'm sorry. She was also the same person that said, they took Shedeur Sanders after Dylan Gabriel because of his negative plays and interceptions. But she don't have nothing to say about Mason Graham coming in, reporting after being the second pick in the draft out of shape. You let Shedeur come in out of shape. They're looking for fault where there is none. Again, this is more of the same from the draft. They haven't stopped. And doing it at the team level don't mean the NFL don't know about it and can't do something about it. They could have did something about it on draft night, and we saw that they didn't because they were implicated in it. And they implicated in this too because they see her. They need to replace her immediately and find somebody who is willing to inform the public of the things, the reality that's taking place, rather than the hatred in her heart. That she don't even know the young man. So where you get your marching orders from? She was clearly enamored with him because she didn't talk to nobody else but him, which means she obsessed with him. That's not healthy. We need somebody that's going to inform the public from Cleveland the reality of what's going on. We don't need to find out 2 days later that he did 11 on 11s, and she out here telling people on May 31st, 2025, that, oh, no, he didn't do 11 on 11s. He only worked with the fourth string. Okay, so who lying? And I need you to stop talking because you misinforming us by telling us that he need to get in here and work his butt off because he a fourth string QB. No, he's not. And they need to stop saying that because that is also defamation. That's trying to harm him and trying to justify what they getting ready to do to him. And I promise you, we're not going to just sit here and let it play out again. We're not going to let it play out the way that they had it set up, that he get cut. And they make fun of him because it's already 2,000 people that know what's getting ready to happen based on the joke that they call themselves playing internally with his phone number and a waiver wire report. And it would be nice to see whose team waiver wire report they attach to it. They want to say his QB comp is Geno Smith. Geno Smith went from team to team to team to team. Sorry team to sorry team to sorry team. And they do that to make these guys have to learn a new system every time, which they think is holding them back. Geno Smith has not even made $100 million yet. And even when he finishes in time with the Raiders, based on the current contract he has, he might. Daniel Jones, and y'all know his record in the NFL, has already surpassed $100 million and has gone on to get another $14 million to prove himself for 1 year. And they put him behind a black QB who just got drafted. And now they saying he should have stayed in school. So Shedeur not the only one they going in on. Understand that. If you are a black QB, your road is harder. And unfortunately, Shedeur is being, harassed by a reporter for the Cleveland Browns that needs to be immediately dismissed or reassigned. Her microaggressions are obvious to everybody that have seen that video. And her commentary and the quotes that she have said about him are either lies or she's trying to paint him as a fifth-round talent, which means she's trying to devalue him. And he's not a fourth-string QB that needs to come in and work his butt off. He has already earned your QB1. Cleveland pre-drafted him extensively as a QB1. So she keeping up the lies. So she got to go. We need somebody that's going to inform the public with honesty and integrity and not a plan and a plot to destroy and defame and devalue and discriminate. And I'm serious. So I don't know who in Cleveland, but y'all got to get it together up there. But the people down here, we can start. They need to, one, do something about her immediately. Immediately. She need to stop harassing him, putting herself in his personal space, and trying to act out how she really feels because her commentary tells you she don't like him. She's willing to devalue and defame him again, just like we saw in the draft. So she cannot be trusted. Her comments are on the record, and they are negative. Or they lies, and they negative. So people got to go to Kevin Stefanski to get the true story. Or figure it out from somebody else that was in Cleveland that no, yes, he did do 11 on 11s. Why they hide it then? Why are you lying about it then? Why you make it seem like you only gave him 14 reps because that's all he deserves? So you trying to tear down his character again. So you trying to say you recognize his popularity, but you don't recognize his talent. So you're going to keep trying to devalue it till we believe it. It ain't going to happen, lady. It ain't going to happen. So let me see what y'all are saying in here. I'm here to soak up knowledge. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Hit the like button for me, y'all. Hit the like button. Just take a minute. I almost feel like she's speaking for them. Yeah, I believe she's speaking for them. If they let her keep working there and don't discipline her or reassign her, then yes, she's speaking on behalf of them. And it seems like the baton keeps rotating. First, it was the GM and Kevin Stefanski. Then Kevin Stefanski comes out with a 360. I love everything about Shedeur. Then we don't see him or hear him no more. And when I did see him, he was frustrated because he was like, I told y'all don't put no stock into who plays what, when, and there, but y'all don't listen to me. So he was frustrated. Then they send her. And it's almost like she's like a pariah. Isn't that a fish? That just, yeah. Very unprofessional, very selective, targeting Shedeur. It's disgusting. It's more of the same from the draft, but I'm not here for that. I'm not here for that. And they letting her do it just like they let the media do it. And that's why I say you have to have a healthy skepticism and who all of a sudden says Shedeur can start. When you see somebody that's been working for the Browns for 31 years harassing Shedeur, using the same speaking language from the draft. Mary has been around for a long time as a beat reporter. She should know better than reporting inaccurate information. Right, because she's misinforming the public. How is she credible? She needs to stay out of, leave Shedeur alone. And she needs to move on to retirement because clearly her thought process is archaic. And it comes with selective hate. And you could see it. When she was on that video, she wasn't talking to anybody else but Shedeur. She didn't ask any of those other players what their fan bases are called. And nobody asked any football fan what your fan base is called because all the teams have names. The Falcons, Dirty Birds. It's not specific to a player. When Michael Vick was there, his fan base didn't have no name. They were the Falcons. The Browns are the Browns. So why is she singling out Shedeur Sanders? I don't like that. I'm telling you, I don't like that. There's something wrong there. And when I see people on the inside who've been with the organization for a long time allowed to run rampant and rogue this way, I'm concerned for his safety. I'm just going to put it out there. That's why I don't like it. Because that's desperation. You can see the uptick. And it's almost like the sports media is trying to distract you and get you excited about he could start, but look at how the insiders are treating him. That's why you can't listen to nothing they say. You got to look at what these people over here in Cleveland are doing. She's bold enough because she's been there so long. She's technically a lifer that she thinks that she has buy-in from everybody to be dismissive of Shedeur because they were dismissive, which is just what those overgrown children did with that prank. And they are also connected to the higher ups, which is why you don't know who old Miss Sweatshirt guy is yet. People could tell me he in a frat, then you know which one he in, and you know exactly who he is and who he connected to. Because he wasn't just hanging around with anybody. He's connected at the executive level. Just like this Mary Catherine woman. And yes, I know her name. I'm getting sick of this Mary Clarence. Yeah. And Cleveland all together. I hope this trade rumor to Miami is true. Please be true. I haven't heard that, but I'm going to go ahead and pin this. Now, I was looking at the scouting report, right? And one of the teams Shedeur was supposed to go to that never got discussed in the draft is Miami. But Quinn Ewers got sent to Miami, but Shedeur was supposed to go to Miami. I think it was like, I think that was the third team he was supposed to go to. I have to go back and look at it. I'm out here for it. I'm out here for it. Just the hell away from Cleveland. Because I'm sick of that dog and pony show, which they think is Candyland. They doing exactly the same doing the draft. That's why all the trade rumors, I'm like, because I read. If an agent can say the owners are incestuously close and you see they all colluded against him, discriminated against him, and allowed the media to attack him and defame him and denigrate him, just like this Mary Catherine woman, that's why I'm like, Smith, I'm going to send you to Cleveland, and then I'm going to send you to Miami, then I'm going to send you here, then I'm going to send you there, meaning he's not going to get a fair shake in this league. And at some point, if that starts to happen, he's going to have to be honest with himself. But Tyrod Taylor's still here. Lamar Jackson didn't give up. They know what it is and they move accordingly. I have to assume. I would hope. And then it doesn't become about the dream that you had when you got drafted to go in and take the league by storm and be a transformative QB. Then eventually you come Joe Flacco. I'm just trying to hold on to my career as long as I can. I don't care about the rest. I only play 8 games a season. So then you become a backup and you no longer care because you get to have fun with your guys and make this money. Might not be as much as you could have made, but, you know, there's a reason why Joe Flacco is holding on to it. There's a reason why he was also allowed to be around since 2017 and hadn't played a full season. I wonder if any black QB would ever get that opportunity to just stall, being part-time. Shedeur and Joe Flacco make the same amount of money. Joe Flacco has not played a full season since 2017. Shedeur is a proven QB1 and Heisman candidate. Highway robbery. And this Mary Catherine woman is unnerving a lot of people. So something got to give. Either they got to be ready to cut ties with Shedeur and send him to Miami or to Jacksonville. And maybe it ain't Jacksonville. Yep, there's always an agenda. That's the point. And they're gonna have to resign themselves to understand coming out of college. If you want to go to the league, you want to get this bag, understand you're gonna have to move accordingly so you don't get burned. And if they put you behind somebody because you're talented, they don't want you to be the next black QB1. You're gonna have to decide: am I gonna stay in this league for this money and just be okay with being pushed to the back? Because it was already like that. And see, Shedeur would have been 17 to 32. And now they want to go back to that. And not just only in the draft, but breaking down dual threat players, dumbing them down to pocket passes. Because why? The NFL has said it itself. Black players are athletically gifted. So how the hell does Shedeur get a 63 on his athleticism? And Jackson Darts is higher. And Shedeur is proven. We watched him run for his life because they just needed something. And it couldn't touch his production because stats don't lie. Athleticism is subjective. There are no defined categories that you are talking about. I could just say anything. So 2 out of 3, I had to take the one that's the most subjective. The one I could lie and say he's a pure pocket passer. That's clearly a lie. You didn't watch his games. Which means, why do you even employ scouts if you just going to go ahead on and do what you want to do? Because it fits your agenda. You know, I'm going to tell y'all, there's so many people disgusted with what happened to Shedeur in the draft that not only is there a lawsuit and others pending, promise you, there are people that are now watching NASCAR, and I'm one of them. There's 3 young brothers. One is a truck driver, Raja Caruth, graduated from Winston-Salem University. His dad went to Clark. His mama went to Georgetown. He was actually on I Am Athlete a few years ago and said that the guy, Bubba, I forgot his name, that was a driver, gave him the confidence. He just won his 2nd race. He won in Vegas, and he just won in the Nashville series for the truck races. That's what I've been getting to know, because this is a lot. It's just like the WNBA, and I don't watch that no more. So people who really have a passion for sports that don't just want to sit here and be traumatized by the discrimination and the defamation and all of the hatred and maliciousness and unethical behavior and collusion, or like, you know what? I don't know anything about this NASCAR, but this look good. Let me look at it. Yeah. It pushes you away into a different area. But see, they can push black fans away if they want to. But who's that on the field? And we do support. And that's what she was having a problem with, which is why she was harassing Shedeur, talking about your fan base is loud and proud. Yes, we're black and we're proud. Same language. They need to move on from people like that. I noticed there's a bunch of old linemen retiring. They need to get some of these people out of here. That plantation that burned down is just symbolic of the NFL itself and its mentality, and it's going to burn down. Because these guys not going to give up. Lamar Jackson has been colluded against 3 times. He's still there. So Shedeur going to be there too. They know how to keep them people away from them or to just move on or to put a buffer in between, or not answer their questions and just keep it pushing. Shedeur would look good in Miami. The team colors, he could handle the environment. He definitely would take over the NFL. Right. And here's the thing. If he goes to Miami, hit the like button for me, please. If he goes to Miami, you know, would he be behind Quinn Ewers? Would they see? It's the same thing. Quinn Ewers was also just drafted. I think might have been number 13 and sent to Miami. And at first, his people looked at it as a negative, but then I guess they stopped and realized, yes, he was devalued. Yes, he made less money, but he immediately got an endorsement after that to try to even some of that out. But it shouldn't be like that. But they were willing to do that. So are they talking about trading Quinn Ewers? Because again, that's turning him into Geno Smith. Okay, you was here learning with Dylan. Now you got to go over here and learn with Quinn Ewers. That's his spot. That's his spot. Now you got to go over here, you know, because it's not a true competition. It's not a true competition with Dylan. So they might be talking about, you know what, let's just trade him somewhere. Send him over there with Quinn Ewers. Maybe they want to see that competition. And then maybe they want to see another one. And then he might be okay with that because it does get him away from stale franchises like the Browns. People are saying that they might be for sale soon. That's a good thing. That's only a good thing because it seems to be working with new ownership in Washington who wants to win, which is why I heard they respect Jaden Daniels. So that tells you that, yes, they all stood back and colluded during the draft, but they treat people differently based on the team that you go to. That's why where you get drafted matters. She's gaslighting people to disturb the public perception of this young man. Right. Why don't they just release Shedeur? Sick of the beat. Right. And it's going to have to get to that. And to me, you know, fans are like, it's not like we want him in Cleveland and we see y'all not going to do right. So is there another team that want a quarterback that want to win? The question is, do they have the choice? Because they all did stand down pat. 13 QBs got drafted. And that meant 12 other QBs went somewhere that Shedeur could have went, including Miami. The era of fake news, it has become increasingly acceptable to report any information, no matter whether it's factual or not. I agree with that, Gracie. I agree with that totally. Hey, how you doing, Isaiah? Thank you. Welcome back. It says, what's wild is they said is that she was rooting for him up until the draft, probably after they told her they weren't taking him. Yeah. Because you couldn't let everybody know that. I agree. Mary Kay interrupted 12 eating a meal to ask him about his fan base. Sanders Nation, call her house at dinner time and see if she talks to you. Lack of respect. Right. Totally unprofessional. Totally unprofessional. Thank you, Blue Moon. That totally unprofessional. Mary Kay is suspect. No cameras were allowed in Stefanski's practice. Obviously, she wants to hide Shedeur's success. Right. She wants to hide his success. I don't hear her talking about how well he did. Don't worry about that. That don't matter. He was with the fourth team. He got to work his butt off. Lady, get out of here with that. In case you haven't been watching, he proved to y'all he's exactly who he was at Colorado, which brings me to another topic about how the NFL wants to set itself so apart from college that it's so different and it's so elite over here that y'all got to let go of what you did in college because that was child's play. That's bull. Okay? It ain't that far off at all. Shedeur is pro-ready, and they don't want to admit it because how do you push somebody down to 144 who's pro-ready? They don't want to admit it. They don't want to admit it. Ashton Jeanty is fine just the way he is. Oh, you got to change your stuff. Ashton Jeanty shouldn't have to change nothing. Okay, let's be real. He just got to learn the plays, and they don't want to admit that's all it is. You don't want to admit it might be a little bit more detailed. It might be a little bit more plays, but no, these guys coming out of college, life get easier because honestly, I just got to watch film and learn the plays. I don't have to go to class. I don't have to probably do something else, because NIL, they were supposed to be doing things. So NIL, class, practice, football, that's a lot. So if you had it harder in college, you come into the NFL and you thinking, because Travis was like, hey, this easier. And you see he burning it up out there in Jacksonville. And they like, oh my God. He the same person he was in Colorado. He just learned your plays. And I don't know why you thought your plays were so different. It's only so much you could do with X's and O's. I mean, come on, it ain't rocket science or brain surgery. But that's how they want to hold it out to be so damn elite. And it's not. And it's also unprofessional and it's highly unethical with the way they conduct business. So basically, we see this a sham. It could be so much better. But what they want to hold on to is the past. So they're willing to burn it all down. Go ahead. They don't want to walk away from the money and the prestige that come with being an ownership. But they can't stop trying to control the black players into submission. Oh, Stephon Diggs back at practice. Shedeur gonna get his money. One day we just gonna look up and Shedeur Sander's gonna have a $500 million contract that's fully guaranteed. Because you still got Deshaun Watson and Stephon Diggs. And this young man did nothing. And all Mary Catherine's narrative is he's not that good. So he's gonna have to come in and work his butt off because he was only working with the fourth string QB, fourth string team. The guys that's not going to make it. Y'all wasted his time then. You negligent with his career then. Because he's so much better than that, and we saw it. Yes, she is suspect. She got to get a move on. Yes, she did interrupt him while he was eating. That's I'm like, you didn't do that to nobody else. She's singling him out. Where you think she getting her marching orders from? What did I say? The culture starts at the top. So it's not going to be long before he find a noose in his locker. Because some idiot on his level is going to think that they could get away with the same foolishness that they got away with the prank. But where did they get the phone number from? The NFL itself. They talking so much around people who are stupid, who are willing to do anything just to be liked and accepted and feel like they one of them, that they're going to do something stupid to him. So they better protect him because they desperate. And they don't even have to be just like the Giants. The Giants didn't have to say nothing negative about Shedeur. We knew you weren't going to take him. You could have just shut your mouth and let the process play out because we knew you weren't going to take him. You have never had a black starting QB1 to this day. And we don't care that you didn't. And we don't care that you don't want one. We really don't. It's 32 teams, 31 teams out here we can focus on instead of the Giants. And y'all could just fade into the black. We don't care. They did all of that so they could justify not taking Shedeur. And here she come with the same mess. So what's she trying to justify? That they gonna cut him? We'll probably go throw a parade or something in the goddamn streets. But another team better pick him up and fast and not give him this mental anguish. Oh, let's do this all over again. No, because Target, no. It'll happen. It'll happen. It'll happen. Target made $100 billion. The NFL only made $20 billion. Target felt the pressure and they make that kind of money. You gonna feel it. They are just now saying that Shedeur is doing 11 on 11. I hope they are not planning to trade him. It said they are just now saying that Shedeur is doing 11. Yeah. I mean, that was always the goal, to trade him from the get-go. He was supposed to be an undrafted free agent. And then they supposed to cut him and then send him somewhere else. Because I'm like, how is Shedeur Sanders a Geno Smith comp? Of all the QBs in the league, you choose the one that dances around after you to basically made fun of Shedeur get cut before he get hired. You see? The media is dangerous. They have been complicit in a lot of media mob lynching behavior. Oh, I totally agree. I totally agree. Yeah, I just heard about the Miami trade rumors also. They better bring somebody else into the mix. They should have sent him down there to Jacksonville and Travis and Shedeur burn it up together, but they're not gonna do right. And when it comes to Miami, why would you send him to Miami where a rookie just got there? So now you want him to go, since he no competition for Dylan, let's move him over here. Maybe Quinn Ewers is better competition. Maybe he can't be better than Quinn Ewers because he came from UT, the most accurate QB in college football. Quinn Ewers was a part of that, and he was the most accurate. So there's always an agenda. There's always an angle. You have to have a healthy sense of skepticism when they make any decision regarding Shedeur, because everything is being done to keep him out of QB1. So yeah, I could see them sending him to Miami and not to Jacksonville, because we know Shedeur would eat Trevor Lawrence for lunch in terms of football. We know that because they know he's not that good. I believe that they're trying to find somebody else to send him to, but that contract is just a lot. So I don't know how they're going to do it. And people saying he have a no trade clause, they got their ways around a no trade clause. You see how they lean on people? Mafia mentality. If he becomes a Dolphin, I might be a fan, but I will get his jersey. Okay, I don't have no problem with that, because I still ain't seen nobody with a 12 yet, a brown one anyway. It leaves a bad taste in your mouth. Yep, it does. It does. And I think people will be up to boycott if they keep trying it. I think so. Come on, sis. We don't care, but don't lie. No, we don't. We don't care. I don't know what you're talking about, but we probably don't. He should not have allowed her to interrupt him. Yeah, he did what he needed to do. He was fine. He was fine. He was fine. Because sometimes that's the goal. The goal is for them to irritate you and for you to act out. Isn't that what happened on the streets? Right. Okay. It ain't no different. That's why you got to be careful. Cleveland Browns have never had this much budge in the offseason. Right. And instead of embracing it, they don't want to embrace it because it's Shedeur. Because they look crazy. And they got to keep up the same rules and not let him get the QB1. So, yes, I can see them trading him. Who's talking about this Miami trade, by the way? Who have y'all heard say anything about a trade to Miami? Honestly, they need someone with him at all times. Yep, they do. Hey, Jerry, how you doing? We talking about there's supposedly a rumor that Shedeur is being traded to Miami. And my question is, who's discussing this? Where did this come from? What's the source? Let me know in the chat. Oh, about the Giants line on Shedeur. Oh, yeah. No. When I say we don't care who they was going to pick, because we knew it wasn't going to be Shedeur. We don't care that they didn't want a black starting quarterback because they never had one. That's what I meant when I say we don't care. Yeah, we do care about them lying on him for sure, but that's not what I'm talking about. They were never going to get him. This was all the rules to justify why they didn't draft him. And I'm like, believe me, it's 31 other teams out here. We don't care that y'all never had a black quarterback. If the league cool with it, we cool with it. And we don't have to watch the Giants at all. And I don't. That's what I mean when I say I don't care. They want to keep their racism up and run their fan base off. Cool. Or they want to get the wrong kind of people that do the wrong kind of things. Cool. It's 31 other teams out here to watch. And now NASCAR. Yeah. Because our guys seem to be making it somewhere. So I'm happy to watch that. I got to protect my peace. So, you know. He's much better than we can see. Watch. Yeah, 12 is going to do something. Marvelous, miraculous. It's in his blood. Yeah, he wins everywhere he goes. The reason we don't know that he did 11 on 11s because he did good. They wanted you to know about the 7 on 9 to show that he had less reps than everybody else. That's why they lined it up on the chart with him second, because they went by jersey number. Who does that when stats are available? But they didn't want you to pick up on the fact. I guess they don't think we're smart enough to know 7 out of 9 and 3 touchdowns is hella efficient. And they didn't want you to know about 11 on 11 because he also did good too, as we getting ready to see, because now the public gets to see, or the media gets to see, I think on Tuesday or Wednesday, which I think might be tomorrow. Either it's closed tomorrow and open Wednesday, but it's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week. These are the last OTAs before they go to veteran camp. And it's a mandatory veteran minicamp too, or veteran camp. And it seems like it's just for the vets. So I don't know, what do the rookies do after this last OTAs if the veterans have camp? Some of the Brown fans are miserable. They have a loser mentality, and that's so sad. Cleveland is not trading Shedeur, not going to happen. The Miami trade is false. TD, let me know why you think that. Why you think it's false, other than the fact that you just think they're not going to trade him. I don't know. You got to wonder. You got to wonder what's going on. The beautiful thing is Shedeur can effectively compete. We ain't got to cheat you to beat you. Exactly, Blue Moon. That's well said. I like that. Why keep him and mistreat him? Because they've done it so many times. Vince Young always should come to mind if you know the story. Vince Young, in my opinion, they showed you that they'll go get somebody that's good and try to break him down and dumb down his skill set. Take a champion that's a dual threat, best QB in college football, and dumb him down to a pure pocket passer because they prefer a pro style offense, which means you just really hand off the ball to the running back or you pass it to the receiver. You don't do the work yourself. And the only reason they like that is because black players who the NFL believes are athletically gifted and can compete in that area with the dual threats, which is why they don't like it. Some do, some don't. So yes, he can compete. But that's why, Amber, because I mean, honestly, they've done it so many times. Like I said, you could just see the pattern from the Doug Williams, Warren Moon era, hell, now Joe Gilliam era, and then, you're moving on to the switching off to wide receiver. That was after they was just flat out banned. I mean, they have tried everything. And then with Tyrod Taylor, he gets the QB1 and his lung get punctured by a doctor that still worked for the team where his lung was punctured and he gets traded. If there's too many elite black QBs sitting around with dual threat capability, somebody going to get the idea to start a league or Canada's just going to blow up and be like, come this way. Because remember, Shedeur Sander was already what? Shedeur Sander is already on the negotiating list for Canada. So that could happen. That could still happen. And what did we say in the Lunch and Stream podcast at 12:30? What did Coach Prime say? It's time for newness. It's time for newness. And last time he said something, it's time for a different approach. What did we see? Him finally speak out about the situation on Asante Samuel. So newness has merit. There is some newness getting ready to go down here. And it ain't Coach Prime because he's not going nowhere. Yes, today was the first day of spring conditioning for the Buffs, but I don't think that's what he meant. And we know Cleveland got to make a decision. So newness is upon us. So, that's what I mean by something going on. We know they got to get rid of somebody. We see that, they said, first they said, Stefanski to clean it up and yeah, we like him. But then now we see the harassment and the negativity and the disparaging again. And also the downplaying of his skill set. See, when you downplay him and say, oh, he just a fourth team quarterback, he got to work his butt off to the first team. First of all, that's not even reality. And second of all, are you saying that because when you cut him, you're going to be like, well, he was just 14 and we still got to keep Deshaun Watson. That's what I think. Why else would you say that? I mean, that's really not reality. So you're feeding a narrative to people or you're just seeking to misinform. And then you have the media, he should start all parroting that at the same time. And I told y'all when that happened, there's something going on. And then Coach Prime is talking about newness, new processes, new this, new that. Somebody finna make a move. And I would not be mad if it's him. And I'm not mad if it's Miami. I'm not mad if it's Jacksonville. But there's some newness coming. So we're going to stay tuned. All right, we're going to get ready to wrap up. This was awesome. Hit the like button, 5953. Thank y'all so much. The rookies go to only separation in rookie minicamp. Only separation in rookie minicamp. The Cleveland coach made it clear that Shedeur has been doing 11 on 11s on the days without the media. Right. And Mary Catherine on 531 is exactly the opposite. I'm like, okay, so which is it? Why are you misinforming? 531, that was just what? A few days ago. Today is the 2nd of June. So that means after they finished the last week, that's when she put that out there. That's why I put the date on it. If you look at the thumbnail, it says 5/31/2025. So if she's saying that on 5/31/2025 and they haven't had OTAs since then, she's talking about the last session and he did have 11 on 11s. So why is she misinforming? Why is she planting the story that he's just not that good, so he's going to have to be fourth team because he didn't have Mason Graham in his face like he a damn threat when he came to practice out of shape and regurgitate his lunch on the damn field. So she want to act like he all of that and Shedeur is nothing. See, that's the problem I have. That's the problem I have. Mason Graham showed us he was out of shape. He probably going to get to be better. Maybe he is, maybe he not. I don't know. But nobody's talking about it because nobody thinks that was a good choice in the first place. And when he got the camp out of shape, it proved it. that y'all made a dumb mistake. They were talking about on Twitter today, or X, whatever the hell it's called. They were saying how one person seems to be cheerleading for Andrew Berry. It must be his burner account, talking about how he's so great at this, that, and the other. And people are saying, y'all failed to get Travis Hunter. And he was like, look at what we got. Mason Graham, Quashawn Junkins, and somebody else. That's greater than Travis Hunter all day. They tore him up in the comments. I was like, y'all could have had Shedeur and Travis. Epic fail. They tore him up in the comments. So, see, people think they can send people like Mary Catherine and this person on YouTube to put these stories out there. And if they just keep saying it, it'll somehow be true. That is so irrational and delusional. If you do that in real life, they will lock you up in a mental institution. That's what they will do. And it's so unprofessional. So a lot of these accounts are meant to leak information, are meant to push a narrative. And the fans are like pushing back, like, we are not buying that. And we see exactly what's going on. So how is it that Kevin Stefanski could contradict her? Was that her intent? Was she there? Or she just chose to be negative and lie? She need to get fired. Yep, they plotting. And that's the takeaway from this podcast. They plotting. Coach Prime talking about newness. Mary Catherine is being negative like they were in the draft. Kevin Stefanski don't have nothing to say other than what he was cornered on the golf course to say. Yes, he did do 11 on 11s, but they didn't tell us about it. But they let Mary Catherine go rogue. Oh, I'm sorry, not go rogue, because she worked for them. She's a lifer, 31 years. They let Mary Catherine run around and put out all these negative stories and her microaggressions. They could have called her off. They could have said, hey. She could have sent her a text message. We saw you on camera. You're going to need to stop that. That's our draft prospect. That's our draft selection. They don't have no respect for him. That's why his safety, he better be careful. He better be careful, because I know Tyrod Taylor probably still, matter of fact, Tyrod Taylor said he felt like it was foul play with medical malpractice, with them puncturing his lung to issue an injection. Your lung is just not sitting right there. You got to get through fat, muscle, and tissue to get to your lung. And if they were willing to do that to him and the person still worked there, that means they don't respect Tyrod Taylor. They don't value him, even though they value quarterbacks. Quarterbacks are the kings, but y'all are black kings, so y'all get looked at differently. That's why Cam Ward ain't everywhere. And he should be. From the little bit that I did see with his, his sidearm release, Cam Ward should be everywhere. First pick of the draft and a damn good quarterback. And while they might not be, maybe they don't have no Mary Catherines on the prowl over there. They're not hyping him up. They're not publicizing him like that. They would rather it be Travis because he's not a quarterback. And okay, you a wide receiver. How am I going to highlight quarterbacks that are black if I maintain that they have lower cognitive functioning? If I continuously devalue them in the draft or excessively allow them to get sacked excessively in their careers? Hey, Queen, what's up, chat? Just got off. Okay, Marlon, thank you. They had 3 OTA practices, but the media was only allowed in 1 day. So she really didn't know what happened the other 2 days. It's funny because it's in quotes on my page, and she told it to another outlet where I got it from with her name attached. So while that might be true, Kay Hayes, why is she allowed to lie then? Or misinform? Why had nobody cleaned it up? Is CP asking that we start to breathe positivity in our narratives, support the Browns as a team? No, no, not at all. Not at all. I just think some changes in the air and he knows it. Yes, Kay Hayes, she wants to spread bad info. Yep, on Shedeur. We got it, Amber. It said, one thing I noticed, there is no pleasing them that will act like they like you. Right, and stab you in the back. I mean, come on. Coach Prime was the biggest example of that. I told y'all, they know Shedeur. You don't need, for somebody to come out like Chris Sims and say he should have had an agent. You notice nobody said that again. Because it's foolishness. They just didn't realize we had the video with Shedeur in the rooms laughing and talking with the commissioner and Jerry Jones and his dad right there. They think they didn't know about that. That's why they haven't repeated that. because that doesn't make any sense. You don't need an agent when you laughing and talking with the commissioner and trying to get your brother to record and take the league to the next level with their media. You don't need an agent. They know exactly who you are. Have to get through the bone as well. The lungs are well protected and layered. And there you go. See what I'm saying? How the hell that happened? And honestly, why is it that they would keep somebody around like that? Oh, because it's not going to happen to nobody else. And he lost his starting job, and why he never got it back. If he was good enough to make it a starter, wasn't he good enough to make it a starter again? But he's still in the league. Why do they hold on to these guys that they clearly don't respect and want to be QB1 and want, because they don't care if they're on the bench at QB2, 3, and 4. They don't care about that. Thank you for that, Jerry. It said, what does it say? The future MLB mom. Oh, it said sacked Justin Fields excessively when he was on the Bears. Yep. And then Bryce Young and Russell Wilson 100 times. And 100 times. And they showed you how they publicly feel about Russell Wilson. Why was Sean Payton allowed to get away with that? Because it comes from the top, and they want to remain distant in the back and not have that negative publicity come against them. But we see it. That's why Mary Catherine is doing what she's doing. Yeah, nope. Yeah, there's a lot of people didn't want Shedeur in Tennessee either. A lot of people are skeptical about that. The Titans seem to be just as disorganized as the Browns. It said they have Cam splitting reps with the former QB. What? He QB1 on their depth chart. Why, if you draft the QB as 1 overall, he should be starting and getting the majority of the reps? Because they're trying to move off from that. See, I told y'all, they might have drafted him first, but that was just for optics. Because people were actually saying, no, it's not racism because he's black. And I'm like, yeah, let's see what happened with his career. That's why I said, will Cam Ward be the heir to Steve McNair? Nobody else has. Nobody else has. Not Malik Willis, not Vince Young, who he called Pops. So why would it be different now when they all had they knew when they had the number 1 pick. You could see coming toward the end of the season who was coming out number 1, number 2 as QBs. Shedeur was always number 2. He was always a starter. He was always first round. So was Cam, but he was not always a Titan. The Tennessee Titans were still trying to meet with Shedeur as late as CU Pro Day. They decided to go with that because how is it going to look if I push all 3 black quarterbacks down? It's going to be obvious. So people are like, it's not obvious. But the crazy part is, not only is that a lie, because I said, we'll see what happens when he get out there. People are saying it. He should have always been the lock for the number 1 pick. They didn't want that. They wanted to keep Will Levis. And they still got Will Levis. And they got Malik Willis and they benched him for Will Levis. This is not about building competitive football teams, but it does make NASCAR seem appealing right now. Because that's just pure burning up the track. I mean, I don't see nothing else. But I know their history too. But I'm still going to look that way because, I mean, you got some young brothers I can cheer on and you know, express my passion in sports because this is ridiculousness. Yep, Justin Fields was also one. It said the Titans, yep, they just disorganized. He'll be so well received in Dallas. What's wrong with Jerry Jones? The same thing that's wrong with the rest of them. 17-32. And they trying any and everything, which is why Mary Catherine is so negative because she's been there 31 years. She take her orders from the top, the organization, as well as the league. Deshaun Watson was getting sacked in Houston. One of the reasons he wanted out. Cam Newton was getting hit in the head in Carolina. And C.J. Stroud came in, put the team on his back. And year 2, his O-line act like they didn't know how to work. And one of his problems from the O-line just got shipped to Washington, where Jaden Daniels is. We will be watching the Washington Commanders to see what happens with Jaden Daniels. Is he going to suddenly experience a sophomore slump? Y'all know the Texans have a black head coach. Their team got dismantled. People ask, what the hell is going on with the Texans? Have the black head coach couldn't protect him. It couldn't help Shedeur get drafted. And it damn sure couldn't help him get drafted to Cleveland. It couldn't help Mike Tomlin get him. because they don't have no power. It's perceived power. They have all been stripped of their power. I told you there's only 2 people who were told what to do in the draft: Mike Tomlin and Andrew Berry. And they said Cleveland, before I knew who Andrew Berry was going to get scammed out of their picks, which means they think he's stupid. And he sit up there and let them use him. Mike Tomlin found a way out. He found a way out. He just put it on them. There were these phone calls. That's exactly what he did. When he said there were these phone calls and we had to listen, because I know they was on speaker. Y'all saw the green rooms. That was a direct threat to his job. So he said, F it. And to be honest with you, had he got him, they already came out in the media and said Mike Tomlin is advised to draft Shedeur and make him QB2. They don't want him to be QB1. So I don't see Cleveland keeping him, or they going to keep him at QB4 with Mary Catherine out here lying, and it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. Because when you on a golf course and reporters show up and ask you, so did Shedeur take reps or not? When people show up on the golf course and you out here trying to have a peaceful day, and it's some players was out there too. And I don't know if Shedeur play golf. I never really saw the Sanders play golf, but that don't mean they don't play. So I don't know if he was there or not. But when people come at you on the golf course and get you to say what you didn't say before, they pressing you. They are pressing you. So yeah, they had to get through the bone as well. Jerry Jones is part of the NFL cabal. Yeah, for sure. That's how they say. That's how you know it's collusion, because he love a deal. He would have got him. Yes. And y'all saw Jerry how he smiling, flash, and light up when he sees Shedeur. I can't wait till they see him. I want to see how they gonna play this off. I want to see, because they gonna play it off. Prime. They know Prime is forgiving. They know that. They know that. But he good, because ooh. Thank you, Isaiah. It said nothing wrong with Jerry. To my understanding, the owners have an incestuous relationship. They were all on code. Yep. Not to be job scared is to be willing to walk away. Some players think that they can't afford to. Honestly, they just don't want to. They like playing football. This is, in other words, the benefits, the fact that they get to play, they in the league, this is what they always want to do, and the money, and the prestige, and the power, and the influence, the endorsements, and everything else that come with it outweighs the control to be submissive. It outweighs. Because see, think about it. Stephon Diggs back at practice. So they just welcoming him with open arms. I guess they ain't going to investigate. But all Deshaun Watson did was ask for a trade. Same thing with Terrell Pryor. He just asked for a trade. And suddenly nobody wanted a quarterback, just like nobody wanted a quarterback, the best quarterback in college football. That's why they're not talking about Cam, just like they weren't talking about him in the draft. Ain't nothing changed. We still moving on with our same old. And if that's the case, the waiver wire that was attached to his name before he got the job might be what's getting ready to happen and bring some newness. Because it's not the first day of spring. It's not even the first day of summer. We in between that. So we're going to have to wait and see, just like we did with Coach Prime, when I read to y'all that he said it's time for a different approach. And then he went on the podcast and talked about it for the first time. So the newness has something to it. They want to fire Tomlin. This is his last year. Of course it is. Oh, yeah, it's definitely his last year. And he know it. Jerry just gave Dak a big contract. They couldn't afford another QB. Yeah, and it's funny. They got what's his name? Joe Milton, another black QB to put behind Dak. So 2 black quarterbacks on several teams. Anthony Richardson by himself, they talk about he should have stayed in school, and they put a white quarterback behind him because they want to move him out the way too. 17-32. Somebody gonna get moved. If Shedeur making the QB1 anywhere, somebody gonna lose their job. Because the whole time we were in a draft and free agency was coming, they did the same thing to Russell Wilson. They presented his stats as if he wasn't the best QB. But when you looked at his QBR rating, he was. So this don't just happen to Shedeur. We just knew to this because why? We're following Shedeur and the rest of the guys. And people like, why we don't talk about the other guys? Because this is critical. This is critical. And if they don't have content, I don't know what else I'm going to say. But this is critical because we get ready to come up on another change, some newness, and we need to see what's going on. So we need to know how to move accordingly. We're not going to just sit here like after the draft and just be upset about it. Dak finna be another Deshaun. It's always something. Yep. The fake hamstring injury. Who had a fake hamstring injury? Sis, any word on the lawsuit at the NFL? No, not yet. The last that I know, and I can see why there's a gap in what's going on, is because last I know, there was a judge supposed to be making a ruling about whether the case was frivolous or not. And instead of the judge who received it making a ruling, they kicked it up to another judge who likely sitting on it, which gives the NFL time to put some plans in motion and maybe get rid of some things for discovery. So the guy already said, Eric, he already said if they dismiss this, he's just going to file an appeal. So it's going to be a process, and it ain't going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen overnight. Maybe if it was $10 billion, it might, but it's $100 million, and the owners get $200 million each, whether they win or lose. So it's going to take some time. It's going to take some pressure in the form of another lawsuit, probably looking for more than the $1 billion that they just paid. Dak pulled a hamstring, yet walked off the field perfectly. I don't know what the hell is going on in Dallas, but I do know they got Joe Milton over there behind Dak. So I guess they think Dak is black, or they believe he is, or he might be, or I don't know. But best believe they are stacking these black QBs on the same teams, because if they spread out, it will be obvious that they could start. I have said, what have I said? Every black QB in the league is elite, unless they chose somebody who's intentionally not elite for a reason, to make everybody else look bad. So this season is going to be interesting. But first, we got to get past, what did I say? It's like a parade in New Orleans where the parade is coming up the street, but you in the curve. You're not on the straightaway. I said we get ready to make a left turn, but you got a curve first. We're in the curve. It's a lot of things happening. A lot of things have to happen. They have to do something with the quarterback situation in Cleveland. So we're going to see what happened. We're going to see if that's the newness and if it involves Shedeur. And honestly, I'm probably not going to be upset, and he can learn any offense. So maybe if he goes to another team, that's good. If he stay in Cleveland, I just don't see this working out, because, we see what time it is, and the fans going to keep pushing, and they're going to keep pushing. So it might be the best thing to go ahead on, and they're going to have to move carefully. Remember, they already got the waiver wire attached to his name, and we don't know what team they use. So that's what Discovery is for. So they're going to have to move very carefully, very carefully. All right, so we're going to get out of here. This was awesome again. Everybody did well. Make sure you hit the like button, 62, 64. Thank you. Thank you for hitting the like button. Miami would be an upgrade. Yes, A. Woods, and welcome. Miami would be an upgrade. Well, if the NFL doesn't want him on a team, if he's released, he might not get picked up. He might be blackballed, and then he can go to Canada because he already on the list. Coach Prime can start his own league. He just might have to play next year. He could go to the UFL and get equity. So there is a solution. And one of the reasons I think they take these black quarterbacks, even though they don't want them to ascend to QB1, is to hoard the talent. So Canada doesn't get it, or somebody gets the bright idea. Hey, all these elite black quarterbacks sitting around, let's start another league. Yeah. That's like a company buying another company that's their competition and dismantling it. And it happens all the time. Toys R Us, prime example. It was said that Toys R Us was actually destroyed by another powerful company because it was their competition in the toy department. It happens. It shouldn't happen, but it does. And that's exactly what I see with these black quarterbacks. I tried to ban you, that didn't work. I tried to switch you to wide receiver, that didn't work. I said you're intellectually inferior from the 70s all the way to 2021, that didn't work. I'm accused of devaluing black quarterbacks in the NFL draft as late as 2022. It is only 2025. That's 3 years, and they still doing it, which means they believe they're above reproach. So we might have to show them they're not. Y'all scared? I'm not. We all just want to see some good football, but we can't just sit back and let this happen. See you tonight, guys. See y'all tonight. Okay. Okay. So we'll see y'all later. We'll see y'all later. Thank y'all so much. See y'all tonight at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It said, love the show. Yeah. He'd be a big draw in the spring league. Yeah. Shedeur will be, we going wherever he go. Wherever he goes. So we shall see. You see the NBA. I see it. And they all gonna burn themselves down, and we just gonna watch something else. And right now, NASCAR might be getting a lot of eyes from people they didn't expect. But I've been posting. I posted on X about Raja Caruth, and they say it's 2 more other guys. I'm going to look them up. And I already looked up the race series when they were right there in Nashville. I'm learning a little bit. So, I get to apply my knowledge and learn rather than have to protect my peace from the NFL. Because that's exactly what I have to do. Because this is sad. It is very traumatic to actually watch people be treated this way, mistreated this way. So, all right, y'all. I'm gonna see y'all later. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. We'll be back at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. See y'all then. And if you have Twitch, we might pop up and play spades. So turn on your notifications. Thank you. Have a good one. Come to Charlotte. You got Horn Jr. in NASCAR. Okay, I'm a paying that. So y'all heard James say Charlotte got Jimmy Horn Jr. and NASCAR. Okay, I like it. And Charlotte is only 3 to 4 hours from Atlanta. So sounds like a win to me. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all tonight. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports.